Hey everybody, and welcome back to Bar Run Forge. It's Troy, and it's another Monday morning tool video. Stick around. Well, in today's tool video, Monday morning tool video, we're going to be making what's called a bottom fuller. For us, it's going to be a bottom hammer fuller. The purpose of this is we're getting tooled up to make hammers, similar to this one right here. And in the process of doing that, after you drift the hole, then you're going to be running your hammer drift through to make the fullers. Well, when you run your hammer drift through to make the fullers, you come into one of these holes here on the swedge block, and the problem is to make these cheeks, once we get the cheeks made out, every time you go here, you're going to be deforming what you've already done. So what we're hoping to do is to make a concave that will basically match this rounded part right here, so that when we put the fullers in, similar to this hammer again, that we can put the hammer down there on that bottom fuller, and we can put the top fuller in and put our fullers in. We don't have a press or any dies that are designed to make the fullers on a hammer, so we have to do them by hand. But we don't want to deform our work that we've already done. If we've worked out the cheeks or something like that, we want to keep that contour. So we're going to do that today. And what we're going to be using is a piece of 1.5 by 1.5, 4140. And the first thing we'll do is put the concave in and put some taper on the sides so that we can try to match up that same repetitive. We want to be able to repeat that on every hammer or every piece that we make. We want to keep that uniform. So we'll lay that out here in just a second, and then we'll go from there. All right, so this is the piece of 4140 that we're going to use. It is actually 1 3/4 square all the way around. The distance, as far as the length goes on this piece, it is 3.5 inches long. So 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 by 3.5 inches long. In fact, there you go. There's your dimensions. Now, what we have done is we've drawn out kind of a rough idea of what we want. We want a contour here, a concave there, and then convex. We want this round over the top. The purpose for that is to try to match up kind of what we've done here with the hammer, so that when we put the hammer billet down in there and drive the drift through, that it matches up with this, that we're not deforming our work, and we can work from either side and put the fullers in whatever dimension we want to work, and that helps keep it all nice and even. So it will probably be up a little bit higher. We'll probably work that concave and these convexes up a little bit higher on the piece. Once we get those set, then we'll actually drift it. We'll probably have to do some refining on it. We'll drift as far through as we can with the drift, as deep as we can to get that drift as wide as possible, so we're not worried about drifting too far. And then finally, we'll actually weld a shank on the bottom of it to go into our swedge block. we have the piece at the basic depth that we need, and pretty good across from one side to the other. We want it at about 1.5 inches. That's about where it is right now. We'll begin working the top fuller, the convex side of each side. If you notice that it did spread out some, and we're okay with that, because if we work a bigger billet, a bigger hammer billet, we can go pretty wide. So now we'll work on the fuller end of things. What we have right now is we have the rough profile of the top fuller. We have the concave. And so what we'll do now is do the other side fuller, and then we will drift the hole in the center. There'll be a lot of grinding and shaping just to keep it smooth, but this is pretty much where we need to be. All right, at this stage, it's a little rough, and that's okay. We've got a pretty good idea where everything's at right here. We're gonna right now punch through that center hole, and then we'll drift that out as well. set up to drift the hole on a swedge block. So we're going to get it out of the fire, put the drift in it, drive it home. All right, at this stage, we're done with our forging. Now it's down to grinding and finishing. Well, our bottom fuller hammer die is complete, and it's pretty much exactly what we were looking for. It's a bit of a challenge to complete, but man, I'm really excited about having this tool in the shop. Been looking forward to it for a very long time. It's going to be very helpful for us to increase our tooling to make things like hammers, and this is specifically for hammers. I've already brought one of our other hammer heads over here, and it fits really good from fuller to fuller, pretty much right where we want it to be. The cheek area is a little deeper than normal, but that's what we want. We want a little bit deeper on the cheeks. So those are kind of accentuated a little bit better. And anyway, this is exactly what we need it to be. I'm excited about it. The only thing I have left to do on it, and it's no big deal, just to weld that shank on so that it can go in this wedge block. So when we're working on hammers, we can do that. The drift goes all the way down through there as far as we can, which means we can make as big a hammer as we have a drift for right now. If we have to go any bigger than that, we'll have to make some more tooling. But this is going to work out great for nearly any hammer we can make. and I'm really excited about it. Thank you guys so much for coming in. God bless you all, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.